The month of September is recognized as National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. It's a time to raise awareness, promote hope, and normalize asking for help when needed.
And suicide affects millions of people every day, yet too many people struggle in silence. And joining us in the studio to discuss suicide prevention is licensed clinical psychologist and the founder of Your Neighborhood Clinic, Dr. Sharifa Al-Uqta. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so tell us a little bit about what is the difference between normal stress and when someone's actually going through a deeper crisis?
Yeah, well, normal stress really looks like what you would expect from day to day. So people might complain of headaches, body aches, might be fatigued, but when you are really talking about a crisis, you will see much more longer impact. So the headaches can become migraines, can become much more impactful. They may need days off of work, right? Instead of just one mental health day, it may extend into days or even weeks, right? So we're really looking at severity and intensity of symptoms to really differentiate between normal stress and a crisis.
And can you tell us the difference between the warning signs and the risk factors and the importance of distinguishing the two?
Yeah, warning signs are things might be imminent. Things are really happening. So a warning sign can be an individual giving away their goods, talking more about suicide, talking about the actual plan, saying that it might be better for them not to be here. A risk factor really just talks about you are in a group, and based upon this sort of group identity, you may be at a greater risk to possibly engage in suicide. So being a woman, being between the ages of 10 and 35 are risk factors. But warning signs are really direct behaviors that I might see you actually engage in or begin to do that really signal that suicide may be imminent.
Right. And if you know somebody or love someone and you're seeing some of those signs, how do you actually start that conversation with them, and not make them feel uncomfortable?
Well, one of the myths that people have is that if you talk about it, then it will increase the likelihood that an individual will actually engage in suicide. But that is actually the first step. If you are seeing warning signs, you want to say, hey, you have begun to say these things. Are you thinking about hurting yourself? Are you thinking about harming yourself? I would like for you to maybe talk to someone professionally around some of these things that you have been mentioning or saying and or doing.
And we want to look at the data. So do you have any relevant data in reference to suicides from like age to gender?
Yes. So one of the things that is very important is that suicide crosses across the lifespan. It is the number 2 leading cause of death between individuals ages 10, I believe, to 35. And then after that, it becomes it remains in the top 10. It is twice as more common, suicide is twice as more common than homicide. So twice as many people die by suicide than they do die by homicide annually. And like I said, it is a lifespan issue. It's not just something that happens in middle or young adults, that it happens from individuals, our senior citizens and our younger children as well.
And what are some of the biggest misconceptions around suicide?
Right. So like I mentioned earlier, this idea that talking about it can be an issue. The idea that people are selfish if they think about it, right? That's a big misconception, that people are actually trying to harm someone else, or that there is a character flaw in terms of individuals who might consider suicide. That's a misconception. That people are just looking for attention. That when people actually say, I'm thinking about hurting myself or harming myself, that they're just doing that to gain attention. And that it's not something that happens across ethnicities or religion, right? Like, oh, they're too spiritual or they're too good of a person to ever think about suicide. Those are some of the common misconceptions. Suicide, thoughts of wanting to hurt yourself can happen, again, like I said, across the lifespan and across all different types of groups and populations.
And we have time for one last question. What would be your message to someone who is struggling out there right now?
That help is available. That there are people that they can call, the National 311 for help. There is help that is available. That is the message, and that those interventions work. And can be beneficial.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if you or someone you know is struggling, you can call or text the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. It is free, confidential, and available 24/7.
And if you would like to know more or speak with Dr. Sharifa Al-Uqda, visit yourneighborhoodclinic.org.